How many properties do you need to actually retire comfortably? 5, 10, 15, 20? Some people brag about owning hundreds. But what if I told you the number could actually be lower than you think? Today, I'm breaking one of the biggest myths in Australian property investing. You don't actually need a $50 or $100 million portfolio to secure your retirement. You actually need something else. And without it, smart Aussies are left confused and essentially broke. I call it formula over flex. You don't need inspiration, you need data. Now in this video, I'll also give you the exact research paper we used to prove it. It's our housing under supply white paper, totally for free. That's so you can actually see for yourself where smart investors are buying before the headlines hit. Because if I'm suggesting that you can get ahead with less properties, they need to perform better. I'm Arjun Paliwal, founder of InvestorKit Property Advisory. Now, we've actually helped over 1,500 Australians purchase more than 2,000 properties, generating over $500 million in equity. You may have seen me on the Weekend Today show or on the AFR as a regular commentator, and I'm going to show you why a few good investments backed by the right data and analysis beat the hype, the flex, the inspiration of those trying to go for 10 plus properties. You just need to know where to look sooner rather than later. When you hit 50, something changes. You stop thinking about how much you make and you start realizing how little time you've actually got left. I'm finally about to buy my dream home. Big backyard, pool for all the kids. Man, I've been looking forever. My wife's in my case too. I mean, interest rates or not, she wants that level up. Well, make sure you get the best home on the best street. Make sure it's the right one. Well, funny you mentioned that. I'm actually in the process of buying another place right now. Wait, another house already? It's only been a year. Nah, not to live in, mate, to invest. Setting up my retirement whilst I'm young enough to lift stuff. Retirement? You're the youngest out of all of us here. I just figured my wage shouldn't be my whole retirement plan. Wait, so one investment property is going to retire you? Nah, I'm on track for 3 before I clock out. As long as we can find the right properties that actually fit our goals, then we're set. Better than me work until I'm 70 hoping my super magically triples. I'm on 230K per annum. You're going to retire before me? Well, you lot all invest your money in lifestyle. I focus on my future. Well, you're just delaying your dream life until you're too old to enjoy it. Nah, not really, mate. We're actually renting at a place we love, and look, when it comes time to retire, we can actually put our whole focus into finding the right place. Beats counting pennies for retirement. Now, this problem isn't exclusive to those in finance, construction, tech, or medical fields. It's a reality for a lot of Australians, those who are earning a good salary. Now, for over 30 years, you've worked hard, you've earned a great wage, and because the income kept coming in, it felt like you had a lot of time. But one day, you wake up and you realize you've got more money than time, and that window for freedom is actually now staring at you right in the face as it slowly closes. The average Australian will get to retirement with between 400 to 500K in super, maybe just a little bit more. Is that really enough? So the real question becomes, what's the safest way to get to financial freedom, and what's the fastest vehicle to reach it? I'd like to ask you a simple would you rather question. Would you rather keep saving hard, push with your finances, put investing aside, and then celebrate, yes, I got this one home, and then you're focusing on constantly paying this down, hoping that it's debt-free by retirement, get to your 50s and suddenly realize, I got to play catch up on investing? How are we going to live? How are we going to be okay from an investing perspective in retirement? Or would you rather go and sacrifice for the next 3, 5, or maybe 7 years in your 20s, 30s, or 40s and know that you've set up your financial future with the right 3 to 5 investment properties? And then from there, the rest of your working life is just 2 things. 1, weight off your shoulders. You can enjoy the upsized combos at Macca's. You can enjoy that extra little trip. Maybe you can upgrade the room at the hotel because you know your financial future's set. All you have to do is the second thing now. Just find that one home that you can get that security with for the next few years and decades ahead. I get the same answer almost every single time. What are your thoughts? Drop it in the comments below. Now, let's actually talk about what happens when you don't wait, when you actually take the fast lane, even when working full-time. I want to introduce you to 2 real couples who did exactly that. First, let's meet Danny and Ron. Danny's a good friend of mine for many years, and she actually works in the banking sector. Ron works in the tech industry. They've actually built over $3 million in assets and more than $1 million in equity. That portfolio has actually set them up for financial freedom. Not with 10 properties, not with 20, it was 4 well-selected assets. Don't take it from me, hear it from Danny.
I think many people think that you need a 10 property portfolio or something crazy. like that to really have that passive income. And it's not true. I think there's a lot of kind of media hype of, oh, look at this person, they've got so many properties. But again, I just think I'm a really basic investor and it's actually very doable.
Then we've got Ryan and Lauren, two physios based out in Darwin who are good friends of mine. Now, they're in their early 30s. Actually, they just touched 30, and they have a healthy portfolio that's helped them reach their goals, with the portfolio over $4 million over the last few years. Ryan and Lauren didn't need 10 properties to get to this point. They only needed 5 properties. And by the way, that's not including their super. That's not including any other assets they go into. And that's not including any major income increases later on in life. In fact, if they wanted to move into one of their properties and keep the others as an investment and switch between which one they live in, they would still reach their goal. Now, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to check out our free housing undersupply white paper below. Back to the video. All right, so what you're seeing here is Ryan and Lauren's portfolio plan. Now, it isn't financial advice. You should get your right qualified advice for this. What we're talking about in these discussions is a generic mapping session, and we're talking about property. And what you'll notice here is that they set themselves a passive income goal. Now, that passive income goal was over $100,000, and that's the yellow line that you're seeing. And as it rises up this yellow line, that is inflation adjusting it, meaning to get the same 100K today or the same 120K today, it needs to be a higher number in the future. But what you're also seeing is the blue line. That blue line is starting with a lot of sacrifice to begin with, meaning negative cash flow at the start of their journey. For their case, their late 20s up until their mid 30s. As you see this line get better and better and better, why? Because of 3 things: rents rising, costs balancing out, and then lastly, income and savings ability also improving. Then it gets to a time where their debt does get offset, their values increase, their rents increase, and suddenly the blue line catches up to the yellow. But what this shows them is that those years of sacrifice in their 20s to get that 5 property portfolio, not including super, not including shares, and one of those 5 properties they could even turn into their home, that is allowing them to get to their goal. When it comes to their lending though, you can see on the borrowing capacity, we've done something called a debt to income ratio. Now, the debt to income ratio is something bankers or brokers can talk to you more about, but the idea here is that some banks will allow you between 4.5 up to 6+ times your household income for borrowing capacity. It could be wages, bonuses, overtime, commission. It could also be rental income added into the mix to boost up this total income picture. The hottest topic of late has been people going through crazy structures all the time, things like trusts and entities and company structures, corporate structures. But you need to get advice for that. And that's not what we can give you here from this type of session, because it's not financial advice, it's property guidance. Now, in the property guidance, they're able to do this without all the structures. And so you can see their borrowing does max out here at this point, and there could be some other structures to get ahead further, but that's the stuff that they wanted to look at separately, and they felt that they didn't want for their aspirations and goals. What you'll realize next is the equity position box. And in this equity position box, the black line is their total value of assets growing, the purple line is the equity building, the yellow line is the debt that's getting more and more offset over time, so it's coming down, and then the blue line that reappears is when they get into a surplus with no more debt needing to offset, and savings and cash balances becomes in the positive beyond the debt levels. They get to retirement age, which by the way isn't even showing on this map because they're so young, and at that point they have a really strong asset base. But the most important story I want to share is the feeling this gives you. Ryan and Lauren just recently sent me a message about them being in LA watching the Lakers game. Now, how many people with heavy mortgages on their home are going to feel comfortable to travel and explore the Lakers games? Because trust me, those tickets aren't cheap. But when you know that your future's set and you're going to be okay, that just shows you what's truly possible from real people and real stories. So, how do they do it, and how can you? It all actually comes down to 3 levers. Because when you master those 3, you actually stop reacting to the market and you start controlling your portfolio outcome and goals. Well, the first point you need is to manage time. I'm talking time in a very different construct. So people think that they've got this working life and retirement life, and let's call it 0. Obviously, you're not going to be buying properties when you're 0, but let's call it 30s, and then let's call it 60s. And so what will typically happen is that people will be on this time journey of earning, and then after earning, they get to this point where their career can start to take some pretty interesting steps, but then all of that focus is for that one home. Instead, they think that this one home's there and they've got all this time in between to make it right. Think of it the other way. Instead, what I want you to do is I want you to block out this zone. Now, the 30 could be the starting point for some, the 25 could be the starting point. For my wife and I, it was 22, right? We're 10 to 11 years on as investors. But if you say 30 is your starting point, you need to condense these 5 to 6 to 7 years to be very tight from an acquisitions perspective. I call this your acquisitions window. I like to have property investing done by a certain time, not happening forever. Because over this time, now you have two things happening. Number one is you have your growth rates going up. But number two is you have your debt stabilizing or potentially going down. There will be a period here because you're in acquisitions mode where your debt actually increases, equity releases, taking money out, doing all that sort of stuff. But when you get to that debt stabilizing and values growing, the power of inflation comes in. Your value of $2 million of assets becomes 4, becomes 8. But that $2 million of debt maybe, or $1.5 million of debt is still today's dollar. Imagine selling a future home that's maybe worth $2 or $3 million to sell and pay off debt on the whole portfolio, all because inflation and growth is now your friend. Now, point number 2 is something called strategy. This is probably the most overused word in property investing because I just want to simplify it though. In strategy, I believe we have 3 things, and this is the InvestorKit way. Now, when it comes to strategy with FMP, foundational properties, are assets in major markets, and these are typically done for comfort. Because remember, not everyone is this super data-driven property investor that knows everything, but at the same time, they know they need to invest. They just don't feel comfortable fully spreading their wings. But major markets don't actually perform better. You're getting comfort, you're getting what I call the anchor. Now, if you'd ask for a perfect world, I'd say don't even have a distinction between these two and look for the best property, but the majority of Aussies will need that major comfort. Now, do you want multiple houses like this? No, because if you keep buying large chunky houses, you might stop at 2, and even though it might equal the overall value position, you might not have enough assets from a collecting rental, the right yields. What if you have to hold some, sell some? 2 won't get you there. But when you get to the 3 to 5, you can use momentum markets. This is where you do the majority of your buying. Now, when it comes to momentum markets, you now have to be super data driven. You now need to look everywhere. In Ryan's case, it was them going to Bundaberg. It was them looking at Darwin. It was to basically get this diversity, go, I'm all in on property investing. I want to be diverse. I want to have data-driven insights, and I just want to get ahead. And so this is the key. But passive, this is a big question mark for everyone. Passive assets may not be needed, and passive assets aren't necessarily property. They can come in all shapes and sizes. And this is when you're starting to get ahead with income as a focus. Because over time, you might sell that major property because it's compounded at a higher value base. Over time, you might sell 1 or 2 of these properties and actually pay off all your debts and then be able to have passive assets like commercial property, debt-free. You might just sell all the properties and go over to a financial planner and speak to them about other higher yielding entities. The main thing is it's a question mark because not everyone has the income or wealth position to get to commercial property or these other assets. From a strategy perspective, this is where you're playing the chips right. Which cities, how far you spread your wings, what purchase prices, whether you're open to renovating, whether you're not, whether you want a comfortable buy and hold. This is where data-driven, the right team around you makes the core difference. So the third and final point is market research. Now, when it comes to research, people also, unfortunately, get this really wrong. People think research is all the cool stuff you could get, like infrastructure, like jobs, population growth, supply, and news, or the barbecue. Some people consider that research. Probably not the best idea, but the list goes on of many scattered things. I call this causation or causal-based research. We're going to put the big C here because this is caused-based research, when in actual fact, you need to look at the effect. What actually always happens when markets grow? And I'll tell you what happens. Listings. Not a lot of them. Sales volumes. Up, tick. In turn, you combine them together, we call this housing inventory. Basically, how much housing transactions are occurring relevant to how many listings are there. What about DOM, days on market? This should be down or remaining at a low level. And if that's good, that's a tick. So this terminology of effect-based data, I can expand on that more. We actually have over 30 plus indicators. But what I want you to simply know is whatever causation is bubbling over here, if it's not causing less listings available, more deals happening, faster selling, days on market coming down, and let's extend it a bit more, vendor discounting reducing, and vacancy rates being tight, well, no matter what you think's causing it or may cause it, it hasn't happened yet. Those are the 3 points you really need to keep an eye out on to actually get ahead. Wait a minute. If you're watching this video and you're thinking, hey, this sounds like me, don't wait for your opportunity in the market to actually drift away. Take action now. Book in your free discovery call via the link in the description or jump on our website, investorkit.com.au. Now back to the video. But even after Aussies understand these levers, there's often some worries holding them back. Time. When it comes to time, people go, well, Arjun, I've got time. Surely I can get to this later. Well, if that was the case, then you're going to be playing catch up in your later years. Focus the condensed buying window and get it done right early in life. It's a game changer. Number 2, it's actually money. When it comes to money, someone will go, well, I don't have the money to buy all these properties. I live in Sydney, everything's $1 million. Well, what you would have seen earlier is the diversity in the portfolio, affordable markets driven by data. So you can get it done. It's just about being patient, but also knowing with the right team around you, you can find the right markets. Number 3 is knowledge. What if I don't know how to buy those 100 properties? The knowledge you get from today is that you actually only needed 3 to 5 right ones. You actually needed to start early in life, not later. And with the right team around you, with the right undersupplied markets, with the right strategy, you don't need to worry about the skepticism or the hype or the inspiration from others who are doing it. They're usually doing it because they've either A, got extremely high incomes, or B, done it for a very long time. Which, by the way, you can aim for, but just know you don't need that to get to a goal if that's what you need to know. Before, the final one is security. Well, Arjun, if I put off buying my home, I won't have the security. Well, take a moment to realize, was Danny and Ron living in the streets while this was happening? Were Ryan and Lauren living on the streets while this was happening? Was my partner and I, rent vesting, living on the streets? No. We still found the right income, the right budget, the right property, the right rental to suit our situation. And the key here is that if you move a little, if you move around, don't you think that the little inconvenience there is outweighed by wealth that you're building? So the key is security will be better for you from your financial future being secured, not just this one home to give you this peace of mind, which, by the way, you still have a massive mortgage on, bills to pay, and you still have to make sure you keep your job to pay. And you're not getting any rental income on it, you're sorting your bills out yourself. So that's the key things, the excuses that you need to crush. If you're not careful, you completely force yourself out of the market when you might have been in the perfect condition to actually capitalize on building some serious wealth. Now, if these 4 excuses have been all through your mind, you need to check yourself and just wonder why. Thanks for watching the video today. Now, if this particular video helped you at all, please drop a like and hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to leave a comment below because all of these videos come from feedback and suggestions in the comments on certain topics you'd like me to explore. See you in the next video.